Welcome to Three Quadras.
Thanks for having me. Let's talk about the market.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are spinning the globe and dropping a pin right in South America.
Yep, we're heading to Brazil.
Specifically, the massive metropolis of São Paulo. And even more specifically, we are zooming in on a single neighborhood called Moema.
And it is quite a neighborhood.
Now, I have to be honest with you. When I first saw the research packet for this one, I thought, okay, we're doing a neighborhood profile.
Right.
How exciting can a zip code actually be?
It sounds a bit dry on paper, doesn't it? Like we're about to read a census report.
Exactly. But then I started digging into the sources you pulled, and there's a statistic right at the top of the page that just stopped me cold.
I think I know which one you mean.
It says here that Moema holds the highest Human Development Index, or HDI, in all of São Paulo.
It's a massive distinction, and it's the perfect place for us to start.
But I want to pause there for a second, because when I hear HDI, I usually think of entire countries, like Norway or Switzerland. I don't usually think of a specific neighborhood. What does that actually mean on the ground? Is it just that rich people live there?
Well, that's a common misconception, but it's actually much more nuanced.
Okay.
HDI isn't just about how much
Those are?
life expectancy, education levels, and per capita income.
Yeah.
So when we say Moema is a number one, we aren't just saying it's wealthy.
Oh, it certainly is.
Oh, it certainly is. We're saying it is statistically the healthiest, most educated, and most developed pocket of the biggest city in the Southern Hemisphere.
That sets a pretty incredible baseline.
It does. It means that when you talk about Moema, you aren't just talking about a place to sleep. The sources describe it as a lifestyle brand in itself.
A lifestyle brand.
Yeah, it's where you go when you want that European level of walkability and safety, but with the vibrancy of São Paulo.
Okay, so we've established that this is the penthouse of neighborhoods, so to speak.
Right.
But here's the hook for today's deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, being number one isn't enough.
Never is.
The sources describe a massive cycle of real estate renewal happening right now. They're calling it a renaissance.
Oh.
Why is a neighborhood that's already at the top tearing itself up to build new things?
That is a central mystery we are unpacking today. You have this established, sophisticated neighborhood, but the housing stock, the actual physical buildings people live in, was starting to lag behind the residents.
Oh, interesting.
People evolved, they got more tech savvy, their tastes became more global, but their apartments were still stuck in the 1980s or 90s.
So the hardware didn't match the software anymore.
Precisely. So what we're seeing now is a massive bet by developers. They're betting billions that Moema needs a facelift. And we're going to look at 5 specific high-profile developments that are basically rewriting the skyline of this area.
And these aren't just random condos, right? Looking at the descriptions, these seem like massive statement pieces.
They are. And what's fascinating is that they aren't all doing the same thing. They represent 3 distinct shifts in what wealthy people want today. We're seeing a shift toward extreme scale, a shift toward high fashion design, and a shift toward what I'd call strategic sustainability.
Before we jump into the buildings, though, we have to set the scene for anyone who hasn't walked the streets of Moema.
Good idea.
The notes keep mentioning a division between the Indian side and the bird side. And I have to say, it sounds like rival gangs in a musical.
It does sound a bit like West Side Story, doesn't it?
Yeah. Are they snapping their fingers at each other across the avenue?
Not quite, but it's actually just a charming quirk of the street planning. It tells you a lot about the local culture.
Okay, break it down for us.
Moema is divided right down the middle by a main avenue, Ibirapur Avenue. On one side, all the streets are named after indigenous tribes.
Arapanese, Nambiquaras?
Exactly. That's Moema Indios, or the Indian side.
Okay. And what's the vibe over there?
Traditionally, it's closer to the hustle. It's where the services are, the heavier traffic, the commerce. It's the busy side.
Right, it's where you go to get things done.
Exactly.
Got it. And the other side?
The birds side, Moema Pásaros. You have streets named Canario, Bemtv. Historically, this is the leafy, quiet, purely residential side.
Old money.
The old money side, if you will, strictly zoned for living.
So you have the hustle on one side and the leaves on the other.
Exactly. But, and this is key for our discussion today, that line is blurring. The new developments we are about to look at are trying to mash those two worlds together.
So they want the convenience of the Indian side with the tranquility of the bird side.
That's the billion-dollar idea.
Let's get into the heavy hitters then. We have to start with the category I'm calling the giants.
The big ones,
These are the projects that are just pushing the boundaries of physics and scale. First one on our list is Gran Oscar Ibirapuera.
Gran Oscar. This is a project by a developer called Tresol, and you're right, the sources are calling this the blockbuster of the season. Sits right on the Avenida-Indianapolis axis.
I was looking at the specs for this place, and I actually thought it was a typo. It lists units exceeding 600 square meters.
No typo. That's
Yeah.
accurate.
I'm trying to visualize that. 600 square meters it's bigger than most standalone family homes. That's like 4 or 5 normal apartments combined.
It's basically the size of a basketball court plus the stands, and they have duplexes that are even bigger than that.
Why? I mean, obviously because they can, but is there a functional reason for an apartment that big? Why not just buy a house?
That is the million-dollar question, or in this case, the 25 million real question.
Right.
It brings us to the concept of the suspended mansion. This is a very specific solution to a very Brazilian problem.
Okay.
You have families with tremendous wealth who maybe grew up in massive standalone houses with gardens and pools, but in a megacity like São Paulo, a house on the ground comes with headaches.
What kind of headaches?
Security, primarily. You need guards, cameras, electric fences. It's just high maintenance and high stress.
I see.
So Gran Oscar is saying, we will take your mansion with all its space and privacy, and we will put it 20 floors up in the air.
So you get the armored security of a tower, but you don't lose the square footage.
Exactly. It caters to a buyer who refuses to compromise. They want the safety of a condo, but the sprawling layout of an estate.
And the price tag reflects that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're talking about values reaching 25 million reais. But you're paying for the scarcity. You're minutes away from Ibirapuera Park. Think of it as the central park of São Paulo,
Okay.
living in a fortress that feels like a palace.
It's interesting you mentioned the park because that leads us to the second giant on our list.
Mm-hmm.
This one is called Monan the Grand Lodge. Now, the name lodge immediately makes me think of a ski resort or maybe a safari.
And that's exactly the association they want. Monan is located on Alameda dos Icas, and while Gran Oscar is about imperial power, Monan is all about retreat.
How does a building in the middle of a concrete jungle pull off being a retreat?
By competing with the weekend.
What do you mean?
In São Paulo, among the elite, there is a strong culture of the private club. You live in your apartment during the week, and on Saturday, you drive to the club to play tennis, swim, and see some trees. Mona is trying to kill the commute. They are bringing the club infrastructure inside the building.
So you never have to leave.
That's the pitch. It targets the buyer who prioritizes wellness above everything else. We aren't just talking about a gym with a treadmill. We're talking about spa facilities, extensive landscaping, private pools.
It's a very different vibe from Grand
They're
Oscar.
very different.
In the size. Are we still in suspended mansion territory?
We are. It's approaching that same 600 square meter mark. But the flavor is different. Gran Oscar is flashy. Mona is organic. It's for the buyer who wants to feel like they're living in a 6-star hotel spa.
So it seems like luxury isn't a single category anymore. You've got security luxury and wellness luxury.
It shows the sophistication of the market.
Yeah.
Developers can't just slap marble on a wall and charge a premium anymore. The buyers are too smart for that.
You have to sell a specific feeling.
Exactly.
Speaking of feelings, let's pivot to our second category. We've done the giants. Now let's talk about the design revolution. This is where things get fashionable.
This is one of the most fascinating trends globally, and yeah, it's hitting Moema hard right now.
We're talking about a project called Sapphire.
Yeah.
And the headline here isn't just the developer, Blase, it's the partner.
The collaborator.
The notes say it's a collaboration with Elie Saab.
Yes, the Lebanese fashion designer.
Now, I know that name from reading magazines. That's Haute Couture, that's red carpet gowns, Jennifer Lopez, Halle Berry. What is a dressmaker doing designing a condo in Brazil?
This is the era of the branded residence. We've seen Porsche design towers in Miami, Armani hotels in Dubai. Now, São Paulo is getting Elie Saab.
High fashion meets real estate.
That's it.
But what does that actually mean for the person living there? Does the building wear a dress? Does it have sequins?
In a metaphorical sense, yes, it's about the aesthetic skin of the building. Elie Saab is known for very specific things. Intricate embroidery, expensive fabrics, a certain shade of muted gold, crystals.
Okay.
The project brings that visual language into the lobby, the hallways, the common areas.
So walking into your lobby feels like walking down a runway.
The sources actually use that exact phrase. They describe the common areas as resembling fashion runways.
Wow.
It creates a sense of occasion. You aren't just walking the dog, you are making an entrance.
It sounds incredible, but I have to play devil's advocate here. Is it just marketing? Or does it add actual value to the property?
It adds tremendous value, specifically in globalizing the asset.
How so?
Think about it. If you try to sell a generic luxury apartment to an international buyer, they have to research the developer, check the construction quality, ask around. But if you say, I'm selling an Elie Saab residence, the buyer in London or Shanghai or Dubai instantly knows the quality level.
It's a shorthand for quality, a seal of approval.
Exactly. It puts Moema on the international map. It signals that this isn't just a nice local neighborhood anymore. It's a destination for world-class design.
Now, contrast that glitz and glamour with the next project on our list. It's called Altira Moema Pasaros.
All right.
And looking at the renderings, this one feels different. It's not shouting as loud as the Elie Saab building.
No, it's whispering. And that's intentional. This is developed by a company called Plenge. Now, if you only follow the São Paulo market, you might not know that name. But in the south and center west of Brazil, they are giants.
So they are the outsiders coming into the big city to prove themselves.
Exactly. It's their big entry into the high-end São Paulo market. And notice where they chose to build.
The bird's side. Alameda João Perry.
The quiet, leafy, traditional side. Remember,
So a flashy fashion tower probably wouldn't fit in there?
it would clash. It would feel totally out of place. So Plenge is using what they call authorial architecture.
Authorial architecture. That sounds incredibly fancy. Can you translate that for us?
It basically means bespoke. It's not a cookie-cutter design. They're focusing on an imposing facade, yes, but one that values ventilation, natural light, and fits the residential soul of the street.
It's designed to look like it belongs there.
Not like a spaceship that just landed.
Just trying to be a good neighbor.
That's a great way to put it. And look at the sizing. It's not the 600-meter giants. The units range from 151 to 278 square meters.
Which, to be fair, is still huge for most people, but compared to Grand Oscar, it's modest.
It's what I call rational luxury. It's for the family that wants high-end finishes and status, but doesn't need a ballroom in their living room.
It respects the context.
It respects the context of the bird's side, quiet, elegant, functional.
So we've had the ultra-luxury giants and the fashion icons. I want to move to the third category, because not everyone has 25 million rays, and not everyone wants a branded lobby.
Good point.
Let's talk about the modern balance. This is a project called Moema.
Moema by the developer Tegra. This project is crucial because it represents the future in a totally different way. Delivery is set for 2026.
The notes mention biophilic design. I feel like I'm seeing that word everywhere lately in architecture blogs.
It's a huge trend.
Is it just putting a few potted plants on the balcony?
It's often used that way by marketing teams, but real biophilic design is deeper. Bio means life. Philia means love.
A love of life.
It's about our innate connection to nature. So in architecture, it means using vegetation not just as decoration, but as a function.
How so?
Cooling, for one.
Okay.
Also, air quality and noise reduction. Moema fills the facades and common areas with vegetation to create a pleasant microclimate.
So it lowers the temperature of the building naturally. It's sustainable, not just pretty.
Right. And here's the strategic twist. Moema is on the Indian side.
The busy, concrete, commercial side.
But it imports the greenery of the bird side into its own structure.
It's bringing the forest to the city. That's smart.
It is. And the units are much smaller here. We're looking at versatile floor plans, 80 to 148 square meters.
That's a huge drop from the other projects we discussed. Why go smaller in such a rich neighborhood?
2 words: investment liquidity.
Okay, let's unpack that. Why is smaller better for an investor?
Think about the pool of buyers. When you sell a 600 square meter apartment, your potential buyer list is tiny.
There are only so many billionaires looking for a home at any given moment.
Right. It might take 2 years to sell that unit. But an 80 square meter apartment in the highest HDI neighborhood in the city?
Yeah.
Everyone wants that.
Young professionals, couples, maybe even older people downsizing.
Exactly. It's easy to rent out and it's easy to resell. It offers high liquidity, meaning you can get your cash out quickly if you need to.
So for an investor, Moema is a safer bet.
A much safer bet than the giant mansions because the market is so much more active. It balances quality of life with financial strategy.
So we've looked at these 5 buildings, Grand Oscar, Monan, Sapphire, Altir, Moema. They're all very different. But I want to zoom out for the so what of this deep dive. Why is this happening now? Why are there so many cranes in the sky over Moema all at once?
It comes down to market resilience. The sources use that word a lot, resilient. Moema holds its value even when the national economy gets rocky.
Is that just because of the HDI? People are rich there.
That helps, but it's really about geography. Think about the map of São Paulo. You have Congonhas Airport right there.
Essentially for business logistics.
Right. You have Shopping Ibirapuera, a massive retail hub, and you are a short drive from the Faria Lima corridor.
Faria Lima is the financial center, right? Like the Wall Street of Brazil.
Exactly. So imagine the lifestyle. You work on Wall Street, dealing with high pressure all day, but you want to raise your kids in a place that feels like a real neighborhood, with trees and bike lanes and parks.
Moema is the answer. It's the sweet spot between the job and the life.
That demand never goes away. That's why these developers are pouring billions in. They know the demand is constant.
It's fascinating to see how a neighborhood reinvents itself. Usually when we talk about urban change, we think of gentrification, meaning a neighborhood was poor and became rich. But Moema was already rich.
This isn't gentrification, it's maturation.
Maturation without aging.
That's the key phrase. If a neighborhood doesn't build new things, it becomes a museum. It gets old. The plumbing gets old. The design feels dated. The technology lags.
So by bringing in branded residences and biophilic towers?
Moema is refusing to get old. It's evolving.
So to recap for our listener,
Yeah.
if you're looking at this skyline today, you aren't just seeing construction sites. You're seeing a three-tiered strategy playing out in real time.
Right. Tier 1. The ultra-luxury giants Grand Oscar and Manam pushing the boundaries of privacy, security, and sheer scale.
Okay.
Tier 2. The design icons Sapphire and Alti bringing art, fashion, and bespoke architecture into real estate.
And tier 3?
The green modernist BEM Moema, focusing on sustainability and that smart investment size.
Really covers every base. It's like a menu for the modern wealthy resident.
It does. And it ensures Moema stays at the top of the podium for HDI and quality of life.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave the listener with the thought that struck me while we were discussing the lodge and the runway concepts. It feels like we are moving toward a future where our homes are labeled by brands. You don't just live in apartment 4B, you live in the Elie Saab collection.
It raises a massive question about identity, doesn't it?
Right. Are we moving toward a world where your home is less about shelter or comfort and more about a curated brand experience? Are you buying a roof over your head? Or are you buying a subscription to a lifestyle?
It's a profound shift. When you have a fashion designer doing the lobby and a club manager running the basement, the line between a home and a luxury product becomes very, very blurry. Your home becomes a statement of who you are or who you want people to think you are, much more than just a place to keep your stuff.
It's a wild shift to think about. Next time you walk past a construction site in your city, look at the sign. Ask yourself, are they building a home, a runway, or a resort?
Or a lodge.
Or a lodge. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Moema Renaissance.
Pleasure as always.
See you next time.